Well, good evening, folks. Mel here down here in Costa Rica, and it is exactly 17 minutes past 10 p.m. here in beautiful Costa Rica. And man, oh man, is there a lot of activity today inside our Telegram group. Folks, if you don't understand that there is a quantum financial system coming, there's quantum medical beds coming, there's quantum aviation coming, there's quantum everything, the entire global fabric of the earth is about to go quantum. We're never going back to the old system. It's called Gesara and Nesara. We teach this inside our Telegram group. We give you the Quantum Financial Systems Manual down below, or you can get it inside our room and you can get your cryptos. XRP happens to be our favorite flavor. Come on in, join us. We'll teach you how to buy it. We'll teach you where to store it, because I'm telling you, you're going to see XRP north of $50,000. Okay. I'll tell you why, because it's going to be the one that's scalable to 3.5 trillion transactions per second. This is for the new people. The old people already know this stuff. Okay. So today there was a few squabbles in our room from people that don't know any better. And they allow the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubts, all these negative articles that are written about, you know, the one XRP Ripple, to get to them. And they're basically trying to influence the people inside the room. Look, I've been here for almost 6 years. I'm not going anywhere. If it takes another 6 years or another 16 years, I'm not going anywhere. Now, it's not going to take that long, because we're in the thick of it right now. We are in the middle of a game that's going on between the global reset and the quantum financial system. This is the room, the most important room, Telegram group you will ever join, free of charge. Our Patriots are there. It's basically to help transition over. We're never going back to the old system. Now, tune in.
What does the screen say? Nesara. Yeah. National Economic Security and Recovery Act. And I want to tell you, we're going to talk a little bit about this. Now, we know Nesara, Gesara has been a topic amongst people in the space and following the economy and crypto. Excuse me. And I want to just let everybody know, Nesara is the National Economic Security and Recovery Act. Gesara is basically the global version of that. And what it basically talks about is many things, but large part is dismissing of the debt, right? A cancellation of the debt, whether it be a national or global effort. What I can tell you right now is we're going to look at some information and letters from the World Bank. We're going to look at some letters from faith leaders across the world who work directly with the G20. And why faith leaders? Because faith leaders, where ministries are around the world, no matter what the faith is, they deal with the poorest and poorest of people. They know what's happening, boots on the ground. So that is actually an important reflection letter of what is taking place around the globe. Excuse me. Allergies this morning. Okay, so with that being said, we're also going to look at some information from the G20. Shout out to Michael C. for all the things that he sent me. And shout out to all the researchers and influencers in this community. We are really, truly lucky. One more time, beware of scams, guys. Beware of scams. I'm well aware that there are ads in front of all the crypto YouTubers of scam ads. I can do nothing about it. YouTube is allowing the scammers to pay them, and they are placing the ads. Please do not suggest to me that I stop advertising or monetizing my channel, because I would never suggest that Ripple stop selling XRP because they're scammers. They're scammers every day in life, and none of us should stop making money because there's other people doing harmful things. The world would cease to exist. So, but what we can do is we can work together collectively as a community, if you will, and we can keep each other informed about what's going on. And if we stay informed, we won't take the hook, right? And then the other thing is that we can do is we can politely tag YouTube and ask them to be responsible and stop taking money from the scammers themselves. That's my public service announcement for the morning. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. Okay, so now let's start here. Okay, let's start here. Shout out to XRP Crypto Wolf. World Bank President David Malpass talked about the following global topics for today's virtual G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting: debt reduction, debt suspension, debt transparency, debt resolution mechanisms.
I do think what has happened at GPI is a big step forward. You know, for 40 plus years, we had a construct around how cross-border correspondent banking worked. It worked, but it had a lot of limitations. We're seeing that move forward, but I think it's a step forward when you're switching from kind of, you know, if I may, horse and buggy to, you know, hey, can we make the horse and buggy go faster? Sure, but if we can actually just move to a Ferrari, let's do that.
So you've said before that you think there's a world where Ripple could take over SWIFT.
Well, I've also said I thought there was ways we could work with SWIFT.
Let's talk about that.
Well, Steve.
I think in the context of, you know, is XRP centralized or decentralized? It is very clearly decentralized. You know, I, as CEO of the company, can't control the XRP ledger. I can't change a transaction. The irony of this is, as the XRP ledger has become more decentralized, Bitcoin and Ethereum have become more centralized. You obviously, lots of people are aware of the 51% attacks. You now have 3 miners in China that can control the Bitcoin blockchain. So when I hear people kind of, you know, making the points, you know, is the XRP ledger centralized? I think there's a lot of people out there that are fighting holy wars, and they're spreading misinformation. And they're spreading misinformation because they have an economic interest in that.
Dale, what do you think about that?
I think David Schwartz said it best. XRP has to be, you know, necessarily has to be at a high price. I mean, if you need $10 million to go across, you have $1.
There are some people that are giving it that kind of a number. I don't know if we'll ever reach that number. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't need it to reach that number. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is that if we need to move $100 million across a network, that XRP has to necessarily be a high number. It doesn't need to be 500, 1,000.
Right.
But, you know, if you need to move $10 million from here to there, and you have XRP at $1, you need 10 million of them. Well, no. If it's at $1,000, you need less of them. That's what David Schwartz was saying.
The higher it is, the less you need, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and even David Schwartz has said that, you know, the banks are going to need $1 million XRP. David Schwartz said that, not me. Now,
hello, everyone. What you're seeing in front of you is a tweet by David Schwartz. David Schwartz is the CTO at Ripple. He's one of the original people to work on the XRP ledger. And this might be old news to lots of people, but I've only recently just found this. And essentially what happened is he posted a tweet in 2017. That tweet was talking about the price of XRP. He said, it can't be dirt cheap. It doesn't make any sense. If XRP costs $1, they'd need 1 million XRP, they as in the banks. They'd need 1 million XRP, which would cost $1 million. If XRP cost $1 million, they'd need 1 XRP, which would, again, cost $1 million. That sounded pretty obvious, but the second part was really interesting, except that the higher prices make payments cheaper. Now, we have to understand what Ripple is trying to do in the first place. Who is their target audience? Is it us? No, actually, it's not. It's the banks. It's those who are going to be transferring huge amounts of money. It's the institutions that are moving the money across borders, and the companies need the fees to be cheap. And with the Ripple technology, the higher the price, the actual cost of those payments becomes cheaper. Right now, you can buy $1 million house with Bitcoins. When Bitcoins were at $300, it would move the market too much and be too expensive to be practical. So higher prices make payments cheaper. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So the thing we have to understand here is, who is the target audience for Ripple? Well, it's big institutions, right? What do the institutions want from XRP? Well, they want it to be cheap. In order for it to be cheap, the XRP price has to be higher. So for XRP to work, it can't be cheap. It can't be dirt cheap. It just doesn't make financial sense for them to actually push out the technology, because the technology wouldn't be as useful as it's supposed to be unless the price is really high. Hours later, after this post, the post was deleted. And that really adds fuel to the fire, right? Let's say that tweet was seen by Brad Garlinghouse, right? The CEO at Ripple. He knows Ripple better than anyone. He also knows that the retail investors, me and you, shouldn't be buying XRP. Is not the point. The point of that technology that he has been on the forefront of is for institutions, not for us. Yet we own it. So when David Schwartz puts out a bit of information like that and creates more FOMO for the retail investors, that's going completely against what Ripple wants. Ripple doesn't want that. They want the institutions involved, not the retail investors. So that tweet was deleted. Obviously, somebody's got an amazing screenshot there, and now that tweet will forever live on. But understanding that XRP's whole desire is not for us to be involved, and that it needs high prices for it to make sense technologically and financially for these institutions. It all paints this big picture that kind of brings you away from what the charts say. And that leads me to start believing that the chart is almost absolutely pointless here, because we already know that these partnerships around the world are being made with Ripple to do these cross-border payments. We already know that's happening. The SEC case is limiting that growth because lots of the American institutions don't want to jump on board until there's clarity. Other countries in the world are following what the US are doing about it, so they are holding back on signing this Ripple technology. And so it leads me to believe that when this SEC case closes or settles, and it's given that clarity that is needed for the institutions to jump on, we would see a move for XRP is straight up. This is the crazy thing about XRP. It would go straight up, bigger than any growth we can map out using the Fibonacci's. We can put the Fibonacci's on here and go, oh yeah, look, $10 it's going to be. You could even put the super cycle on there and go, oh look, $60 at the top there. That's the super cycle fib based on the charts. But this chart is a lie, because this reflects the movement of XRP based on retail investors who have shifted the price for XRP, me and you. We have shifted the price for XRP basically none. The moves we've had from 0.002 cents all the way up to the all-time high at about $3.50. That is basically the limit of what we, the retail investors, can do. We simply cannot transact enough to move the price up to those numbers.
In this business, the three most important words that people don't understand, you guys get, I'm sure, is liquidity, nostro, vostro. That's it right there. And when you understand that we're graduating out of this mediocre world that was mediocre prior to the C19, and we're graduating into this new world of Nesara, Gesara. We're graduating and going from 5 quadrillion of movement of money. I'm talking all of the money, derivatives, real estate, stock markets, all the money, government to government, corporation to corporation, everything, remittances, all of it, right?
All the money. 5
quadrillion. We're going to graduate into a 50 quadrillion. Why? I always say this because there's 0.0000006 of the world's population is here. There's 150 million people in digital assets. The rest of the world is still not here. They have no clue. They have to come learn this whole new language. Okay. So when you get into right down the brass tacks, and you're talking liquidity of the new world, when you're talking how much more intensive, I believe with every fiber of my being, that it's going to be a minimum a 10x situation.
Oh yeah,
10x, because you
10x, bro. 10x. What? Listen, we can be a little bit better, a little bit nicer than that. 10x is like, you know.
Yeah, that's a given, right? So you got what, 1.8 billion people unbanked that are about to get a $5,000 to $6,000 a month universal basic income that's got to travel through the what? Through the XRP and through the XLM.
Mind blowing.
Start doing the math, okay? And you start to understand that 50 quadrillion is not the market caps that are calculating things now are going to be a thing of the past. There's going to be a new market cap that's going to calculate. They need that XRP to be $100,000. I'm sure it's not going to go from 33 cents to $100,000 overnight. That's not going to happen. But it's going to be in increments. It's going to be in increments. And once they get it to the number, the desired number, because they need it there, not because we're greedy, but because they need it there to fix the new world affairs.
That's right.
We're going along for the ride. Yes. Do I believe there's going to be a buyout?
Right.
And believe betcha.
Yeah. I do. Here's why. Okay, to be more serious. I told you this in December. I think you were also confused back then, like everybody is. Ripple, or in this case XRP is the actual currency, is a really, really good way to move money. So we denominate our fund in XRP because it's a fantastic way to move money cross-border very quickly at almost zero cost. So there's a lot of tribalism in cryptocurrency and a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, etc. And the one thing they all agree on is they all hate XRP because it's centralized, they think it's corporate managed, etc. I mean, none of that's really true. But what it is a fantastic way to move money. And while the other more decentralized cryptocurrencies sort of find their way towards becoming more efficient, in the meantime, XRP is like fantastic. And so from a hedge fund point of view, it's great to denominate ourselves in XRP.
So I must admit, the XRP token is a very fast-moving token and a great token to move cross-border very quickly.
You got 22,000 bullshit tokens, and there's only one that's got the lawsuit. That's the one they don't want you to pay attention to. That's the one that's 32 cents. That's the one that's been manipulated. That's the one that they were invited to go down to Antarctica. That's the one that's been invited to go to the G20, the G7, the G30, the G29,
check the documents. Check the documents. Every one of these, check the documents. It's always in the documents. Ripple XRP, it's in every one of these major institution documents.
Or should we say like Brad Kimes, come on in.
Come on in. Don't believe it, it's still true.
Yes, exactly.
And what other CEO can be said of that's being taken pictures with all these people and all these nations?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
You have to be quadruple stupid not to understand that XRP is the one. You have to be quadruple stupid not to understand that Flare Spark is going to be the one. You have to be quadruple stupid.
How about this? Even if you don't think it's the one, right? Why would you not? If it's 32 cents, oh, my bad. I think it just went up 10%, 35 cents now.
Okay.
Why would you not buy some, set it and forget it, tuck it away?
Yeah.
Even if you don't like Ripple, you don't like the community. I mean, it's like, why would you not even? Don't let the emotion prevent you from, a life-changing opportunity. Just don't do it.
Question that has excited me beyond everything, and it's been a headache to understand it. When I understood this about XRP, my brain exploded. It literally exploded. I went to bed last night and I didn't sleep for 2 hours, just lying there, just me being excited about the bag that I hold in XRP. So the big question is, how does XRP go from where we are today to the price where it becomes viable as a payment currency, as that intermediary exchange currency? Because if institutions are spending huge amounts of money and they only have the XRP for 4 seconds, how is the price going to maintain a level? This is a two-part answer. The first part of the answer tackles the everyday human and how the everyday human will use Ripple technology. So with the way that XRP works is that it's a very quick transaction of money from one currency to another. When we have achieved that high price tag for XRP, it becomes viable as a currency for literally everyone. Basically anything you do, from how your salary is paid to how you pay salaries, to how you pay the florist down the road, or how you buy a chocolate eclair from a baker's. If you're American, you're going to have to Google a chocolate eclair. But they're amazing. And we'll be able to transact on an everyday basis using XRP and the Ripple technology without really even knowing it. Consumers don't need to know that stuff because all the stuff that happens that is of importance to the institutions happens behind the scenes. Because, and this is part two, the way that the price goes from where it is today to where it needs to be is because it pays institutions to use XRP that they already hold to create cheaper transactions in the future. So let me clear this up. We've got Uber, for example. Uber are settling payments all over the world. This is going to get so technical. I'm not even sure I fully understand it, but I got it enough to understand where this is going. Uber drivers all around the world are completing trips, getting paid, getting reviewed. Completing trips, getting paid, getting reviewed. Maybe they get reviewed before they get paid, I don't know. So how it works right now is that the bank has to do all these payments in the traditional way, even cross-border. Oftentimes they'll be working with banks in the local region to make those payments. Either way, the payments are costly and they're slow. And for a thing like Uber, and especially for Uber drivers, for example, Uber drivers want to be paid quickly. When you're an Uber driver, you're working hard to make not a lot of money. I mean, you can make decent money at being an Uber driver. And so due to the nature of the people that are working for Uber and getting paid from Uber, it is more useful to the driver and to the institution, Uber, to pay their drivers quicker. And those drivers are in basically almost every large city around the world, in all the currencies. So what Uber will do is they will buy a huge amount of XRP below market value. How they do that is they basically buy XRP earlier. They would have bought a huge amount of XRP to help settle those payments that they would make all across the world, and the fees would be significantly cheaper because they already own the XRP. They're not paying fees turning their currency into XRP every single time. They already own a huge amount of XRP, and so they pay half the fees, and the fees are already cheap. And so due to the nature of this, it requires institutions and central banks to own huge amounts of XRP because it makes more financial sense to hold huge amounts and pay half the fees. And there's something else I haven't quite got my head around yet, but they pay half the fees because they essentially wait for someone who's sending XRP, and they receive the XRP and provide the XRP as liquidity for the fees. I'm not sure I quite understand that, but there are other reasons why institutions and large companies would hold huge amounts of XRP to settle payments. That's how the price gets to these astronomical numbers, because twofold. Institutions need to hold huge amounts of XRP to make it even more beneficial, even more cost effective. In addition, the purchase of all those XRP tokens will lift the price higher and higher, and they're holding those tokens. They're not just used for 4 seconds, they're holding because if the world operates using this Ripple technology, which it very well could, even if it operates at 10% of the institutions around the world operate with Ripple, the prices are massive. Companies will simply need to hold XRP to settle transactions from those who are using Ripple technology around the world. So it's almost created this system where you cannot not be involved with the Ripple technology in some way. In order to settle payments from people who are using Ripple technology, even if you aren't using Ripple technology, you need to hold XRP to settle those payments for half the cost, right? Who in their right mind is going to settle payments the old way if everyone else is doing it for half price? It makes complete sense to switch over.
I think this is the first large-scale hedge fund denominated in a cryptocurrency, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, it's just so much better than using any kind of fiat dollars, whatever.
But why XRP of all the cryptocurrencies that are out there?
Banks use XRP to transfer money, particularly cross-border, because it's super fast compared to SWIFT, and right. So it's a cryptocurrency that's specifically designed for large institutions to move money to a different institution in a different country, super fast, super cheap, particularly bypassing SWIFT. We're going to have LPs from all over the world, and we're going to be making investments in XRP. It is so much better than wiring money to an investment, sending them cryptocurrency. We're investing in crypto companies, so they're already set up to take crypto. They know what crypto is, so there's no educational curve. Like, it's almost like, why would anybody starting a crypto hedge fund do it in dollars? Like, that makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I think, Mr. T, 45, he did some really important things in those executive orders, okay? And those executive orders are starting to come to fruition right now. And so those of us that are paying attention, okay, are going to be the ones to help the others come in. When the curtain finally drops officially, we'll be the ones to help them. But until then, we have to do everything in our power to disseminate misinformation, number one, and number two, educate and inform on these assets, because these assets, no ifs, ands, or buts, will be the new system. No ifs, ands, or buts. No ifs, ands, or buts. Research years tells me that, okay? It's happening. You can check on chain to see the amount of volume, the amount of money flowing through these protocols. Zero doubt this is happening, okay? It's just, where are you going to be when it happens?
Yeah.